We can now reveal he is the unnamed BBC presenter at the heart of the Sun newspaper's allegations.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we'll be explaining the ongoing Huw Edwards BBC controversy. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. On the 7th of July 2023, a story broke in The Sun about a high-level BBC presenter on a six-figure salary allegedly paying a cumulative £35,000 for inappropriate pictures of a 17-year-old boy. This followed at least 2 months of internal allegations and complaints, first made to the police back in April and beginning with the BBC on the 19th of May.
Since the scandal broke last week, there have been several young adults who claim they've had inappropriate contact with the presenter.
Following The Sun's exposé, speculation was rife from the public. This was all coming mere weeks after ITV was wrecked by a similar scandal involving Philip Schofield, so you can see why The Sun might take a news story like this about the BBC, much higher in caliber than ITV, and want to run with it. Multiple top-paid BBC stars had to publicly deny that they were the mystery presenter at this time, including Gary Lineker, Rylan Clark, Nikki Campbell, and Jeremy Vine. The stars in the hot seat also implored the real subject of the story to come forward so that the witch hunt could be over. Over the following days, more allegations appeared as well about aggressive messages from the presenter in question. By this point, the BBC was conducting an internal investigation, but was then asked to stop by the Metropolitan Police. Eventually, the BBC and 2 different police forces were all involved. This despite the teenager at the center of the scandal saying that the allegations were, in his own words, rubbish. The story in The Sun actually came from the boy's parents as its primary source, and The Sun didn't initially publish anything about his denial, nor did it publish real details of its evidence, instead demanding the BBC provide evidence.
We've had a statement within the last few minutes from Vicky Flynn, who is the wife of Huw Edwards, who named him as the BBC presenter facing allegations.
On Wednesday the 12th of July, following the conspicuous absence of Huw Edwards from BBC News at 10 all week, Edwards' wife, Vicky Flynn, put out a statement on Edwards' behalf that the presenter was involved in the scandal, and that he was now in hospital receiving treatment for suffering a major depressive episode, something Flynn stressed he had a history with.
Huw is suffering from serious mental health issues, as is well documented. He has been treated for severe depression in recent years.
Further allegations have since been made internally, including some supposedly from fellow BBC employees who claimed he'd sent them flirtatious messages. However, the police cleared Edwards of wrongdoing and said that the law hadn't been broken.
We're aware of media reporting of further allegations against the same individual. No specific details or information about these allegations have been passed to us, and therefore there is no police action at this time.
Flynn also asked that Edwards and the family are given privacy. Shockingly, the BBC also announced Edwards' resignation live on air and then had to immediately backpedal, as he had done no such thing.
He has not resigned. He has been named by his wife. He has not resigned.
Yes.
Edwards is one of the most prestigious broadcasters in British history, regarded by many as the face of the BBC, and has been at the forefront of many major stories and events over the years. He presented during the weddings of both Prince William and Prince Harry, the coronation of King Charles III, and it was even him who announced the death of Queen Elizabeth II on BBC News.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Acquiring inappropriate images of anyone under 18 is an offence in the UK, and the fact that the police cleared Edwards likely means that any evidence he broke the law is flimsy at best and non-existent at most. Combined with the fact that the teen in question, who was 17 at the time of the alleged messages and payments, but is now 20, didn't want to pursue any complaints or allegations themselves, and the fact that anybody with a story like this could get a hefty payday from The Sun and things start to fall apart.
Well, we have been trying to ask the Sun some of those questions posed over the last few days, but their response so far has been no comment.
Currently, it is not clear whether Huw Edwards did any of the things he's being accused of, though he and his family have not denied them.
As things stand now, there's been no illegality, there's been no abuse of power as far as I can see, and therefore I think, well, what is it to do with anybody?
The Sun has remarkably backtracked on much of what it's published too, which is rare. The paper has tried to defend itself by saying it never named Edwards, nor did it ever explicitly say that a crime had been committed with regard to the supposed payments. But this defense isn't washing with everybody. Online, Nikki Campbell, one of the people accused of being the anonymous presenter before Edwards was named, has been threatening people online with libel and defamation cases, and Edwards himself has liked tweets joking about the kind of lawsuits that could be brought against the Sun. Time and time again, the Sun has been sued for libel and defamation of character, sometimes winning and sometimes losing.
I think there are a number of people in the tabloid press, and dare I say it, in BBC News, who need to give themselves a good, hard look in the mirror over the coverage.
It looks like this isn't the end of the story, and if nothing else, Edwards has a lot of resources at his disposal to go after the Sun. We're going to have to wait and see whether his career continues with the BBC, whether more allegations come out, and whether or not the Sun faces the consequences of its actions for once.
It's a very sad state of affairs. Obviously, one feels for Huw in hospital, and one also feels for his wife and family.
When even the person allegedly affected by Edwards' actions has denied them, and there's seemingly minimal evidence for anything illegal happening, it looks like the Sun is really in the wrong here. And that is the Huw Edwards controversy explained.